G'day and welcome back to my hobby room. Now look, there's a lot of things going on in here and I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. It's the bloody elephant that just about trod on me. It tried to kill me. It is. But we'll talk more about this little bastard later. It's that time of the year where nighttime and daytime are the same length. It's a unique thing. Well, it happens twice a year, so it's not solely unique, you know. And it happens everywhere. And the thing is, that's the only time when you up there in La Americas and La Europe and all the rest of it, and La China, okay, where your day is the same length as my day. We actually synced for a change, right? Except you're probably sleeping while... Look, it doesn't matter, okay? It's the Equinox, and that gives an excuse to do a workbench and new kits, Equinox, Rendition, Basque. Oh no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what's on my workbench. Okay, so that'll be kits that I'm building, kits that are coming up, all that sort of thing. And then I'm going to go through new kits. And they're going to be, you know, well actually nothing I've bought that I can think of. I think just about everything's been given to me. Yes, I'm such a lucky bugger that people keep throwing things at me. Anyhow, we'll go through anything that's new in my stash that maybe you haven't seen before. And of course we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, the dreaded 3D printer that nearly killed me and what I've done to solve the problem. Okay, let's get on with it. Roll the music. Now, a big shout out to my Patreons and my YouTube members, because without their support, I wouldn't be doing these videos. They really keep the lights on and keep things going here. They keep the curry in my pocket. No, what do you say? Bass, did you write this? No, look. The Patrons YouTube members is great, from as little as $1 a month, but a few more dollars helps, and that does help me keep doing this channel, doing things, getting stuff going. All right, enough of that self-promotion. What's on my workbench? Well, we'll get to this behemoth over here, this deadly little Dalek, shortly, but let's just talk about models for a change. Since the last workbench and new kits, right, which is basically the, well, that was the winter solstice for me. It was summer solstice for most of you guys. That's the hottest day. Oh, look, I don't want to go into these dates and times again. This is not a science program. We're not discussing astronomy. No. Did you know Uranus had Mercury in retrograde lately? God, that hurt. Anyhow, enough of that. What's been going on? Well, the Sunderland, right? The Sunderland. Okay, it was a magic build. It was a dream kit from my youth. It was a present from the Becca for Christmas. Can you see me behind this? It was a present from the Becca at Christmas time, and yeah, I loved it. It was great. I needed a couple of months after Christmas just to sort some things out. Got stuck into it. It was about a 3-month build, which is pretty good for me, from, you know, opening the box to finishing it. So that was the very first kit of this period, since the last workbench and new kits, that got finished. And I'm really happy with it. I've still yet to do a diorama thing for it. Yes, it's going to be floating in the water. It's going to be landing, you know. But I had a lot of fun with that. If you haven't seen that series, go back, because I did a lot of scratch building with it. I mucked around. I did the PE, then realised the PE was rubbish. And as in my previous video that a lot of you have watched and commented on, you don't really need the PE. No, and I proved it. In that one. So there's that. Okay, so we got that out the way. That's good. And then I moved to what I'd promised. I promised I would do is get on with the St Louis. And look, she is really coming along. There's lots happening. I mean, I finally got all the guns on the deck. They're all lashed in. The masts are finally glued in. Everything's set up. The channel boards are in there that you really can't see them. They're little things that the ratline's going to sit on. And I've started on those ratlines. You can see some of them there. Okay, yes, I have a wobbly bowsprit. I do. It's only there because I keep knocking the bloody, this figurehead here. There's a little golden cherub who's flying on a big duck or something, right? I keep knocking his sword off. So I've got it put safely aside somewhere. I don't know. Probably have to scratch one. So I'll probably have to scratch a new sword, but it's just a little pokey up thing. Going to be. And I'll do that once I glue in the bowsprit. But that's going to happen. This happens. I'll be hopefully another video out on this before the end of the month or early October before I start on what's going to be next. We'll talk about that in a sec. We'll talk about that. Now, I'm actually building something. Yes, I know. It is hard to believe, but it does happen. It's a swim wagon. It's actually called a swim wagon, but it's got a big nose. Actually looks like a boat. Looks like a boat here. Here's the kit box. That sort of best explains it. All right. So it's a Werk Swimmwagen Trippel, and the triple doesn't mean it's got 3 wheels. No. As I explained in the unboxing video, It is made by Mr. Hans Trippel. Yep, he designed it well before Ferdinand Porsche had to go. So there you go. That is being built. It's a very fiddly kit, I must say. It's a very fiddly kit, but I'm going to show you how to build it without using half the parts. Yeah. Like PE isn't necessary. Half the friggin' parts of this thing are not necessary. No, it's over-engineered to the shithouse. It really is. But that's on my bench. There will be a video out very soon about that as well. So there you go. There's actually things being built. I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's hard to believe. Now, the printer, okay? It's on my bench, and it took up a whole month of my time in the last period of 3 months. You know, it's 3 months between solstice and equinox. For those of you that don't know how the calendar works. So, that whole period of winter time, yes. It started out good. I mean, it was given to me for free. I didn't pay for it. I wouldn't have bought it. It was sent to me for free. It's well made. It works. It does everything you tell it to do. My mistake was buying odorless or low odour resin, because I knew I'd have a problem with the resin. I'm very sensitive to chemicals. I don't use any lacquers, enamels, or even alcohol paints if I can help it. In my modelling, everything is water-based, right? So water-based Styrene, water-based life colour paints, that sort of thing. And so it's just, you know, it's as least toxic as possible, because I do react. And that's my problem, okay? But here's the thing. There are hidden traps in this whole resin thing. And do not buy the low odour stuff. Don't do it, because what happens then is you don't smell the problem. And it isn't apparent at first, but the resin toxin, which is in the air, and you're not smelling it, it starts to build up in your skin, right? Now, it hits me pretty quickly, but for other people, it's going to take a while. It might even take you months or even like a year. But eventually, you build up to a toxic level, right? The tiny, minute bits and absorb the skin, build up a toxic level, then you have toxic shock, all right? And then you're really sick. And from then on, you can't really be near the stuff. So a lot of you guys doing resin printing think, it's okay, I'm wearing my bloody, PPE, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm not touching it. Yeah, it's a wait a while, mate. Yeah. You know what a wait a while is? Yeah, there's a little dead little plant in Australia, a wait a while, yeah. So what happens is the resin was getting to me, and I didn't even realise it. And I was getting quite sick. So I shut the whole thing down, I cleaned out that room, closed this whole thing up, and decided I would give this away in a competition, all right? But then a strange thing started happening. I printed out all these little resin guys, they're actually really nice. Right? I had no problem with basically what was happening as a minion for David Eves. More of those to come. He's ordered about half a dozen bloody minions. And I even made an Eiffel Tower, which has got a bit wobbly now. It's got a bit wobbly. And I enjoyed printing out the cannon. These are all good things, okay? These were terrific things. And I used that cannon in the video on how to basically rig a cannon, because it was nice and big. I could show very easily and clearly. This is the wonder of 3D printing. It's a lot of fun. It's really good. But here's what happened. An exploding dragon. Yeah. G-Tech supplied in the box a little USB stick which had a lot of these little models like the lion and the Eiffel Tower and what have you, And they're there so that you can print a few things and you can go, oh, wow, look. It works, and it's great because they're already set up. You don't have to slice them, right? Because slicing and dicing and supporting and all that is stuff you have to do in software, so you have to get your head around that. So you can get a really quick experience and enjoy it, they include these files. And one of those is a very nice Chinese dragon, okay? Prints out beautifully. It's lovely. It's really good. It takes takes quite a few hours to do. I mean, some of these prints, like this one, 9 hours, right? They take a while. They take a while to do. You've got to set them off and then they're, you've got to hope that they actually work. There is no failure. But none of mine failed. They were good. And the Dragon printed didn't fail. It was really good. Came off. Loved it. And I had it on display. Now, I had the toxicity problem, but once the resin is cured, you don't, right? There's nothing, okay? Once the resin is cured, there's no particulates, right? There's none of these particulates floating off it that cause respiratory issues or can basically get in your system and cause toxic shock. So I thought everything's okay. I cleaned up the room, everything's fine, and I had a week which wasn't too bad. And I was making my models and everything was quite good. And then I'm going in each day and I'd model for about half an hour and I'd start to feel a bit tired and I'd get a bit weary and a bit short-tempered. Well, short-tempered. Bloody fair! Wasn't that. I just wasn't enjoying myself. I thought, this is strange. I lost my mojo. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just need to take a break and do something else. So then I'd try it. The next day I'd go in. After about half an hour, again, I'd feel woozy. My eyes would feel tired. I'd go, what's going on? This is terrible. And it never clicked what the problem was until after about over a week of this, realising I'm just not doing any modelling. It's terrible. As I'm walking out the hobby room, and I passed my display cabinet where all these little resin things were sitting there, I walked past the door to the back room where I'd had the resin printer, and I got a whiff of resin, right? The low odour stuff, you can't really smell it unless there's a lot of it, unless it's really concentrated, and then you can get the whiff. And I went, oh, it's still leaking in there. So I went in there and I washed everything, and I cleaned everything, and I went berserk, you know. I did Sadie the cleaning lady. Did you know that one? Look that one up. And I came out and thought, good, that's fixed that. And then as I stepped to my hobby room, big whiff. I thought, what's going on? And then I saw this on my display cabinet. The Dragon had exploded and poured liquid resin out all over the display cabinet, dripped down inside. It was everywhere. It was eating up some little Viking warriors that I had there. Lucky they were seconds, so it didn't matter. It was, it was everywhere. Now the thing is, that Dragon was a hollow print. I didn't know that. Okay, they were already pre-sliced and diced and set up, so that was what G-Tech had sent me. Now, hollow shouldn't be a problem. Well, it's not a problem with filament printers, but with resin printers, you need drain holes, because as it's printing, it prints each layer with a photograph, prints up all the layers. You've got to have holes, because if you have something that seals itself up, it's got to have a way for the resin to escape. So there's usually, you design it, you put little drain holes in. So as it goes up, it's always draining out the liquid. And as it closes itself up, hopefully there's virtually no liquid inside. What there is, maybe will cure anyway. The thing is, all that liquid in there was just a time bomb. But there is a message there, and be really careful. If you've got a resin printer, and if you're printing anything that's hollow, make sure it's got drain holes in it, and make sure that the stuff is fully drained out, because it's a time bomb. If you've got resin stored in there, it's a time bomb. Eventually it's going to go bang, and you've got toxic resin everywhere when you're not in your gear. Least expected, you've got pets, you've got children. Very, very dangerous. All right, but I did print a Canon. Did I tell you that? I have solved that problem, but I'll tell you about that when we move to new kits. Just getting a morning coffee in. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's better. Oh, dear. Right, well, things have changed. Yes, we don't have the exterminating Dalek anymore. We have got this. It's a lovely piece of goo. It's an Elegoo. It's a Neptune, right? It's a planet. Yes, it is. And I must say, it's mighty. It's fantastic. It came as a semi-kit. It was sort of slightly built up, but I did have to build it like a kit. There are whole instructions. And, the experts on YouTube, they all say, it takes 15 minutes to put together. Well, it probably does if you know what you're doing. If you've never built one before, yeah, it took me an hour and a bit. Right, so that's not too bad. And I was amazed. I actually got it all together, and then I was sort of too scared to put it on because I'd had a few problems, and I'd actually crushed some wiring loom underneath one of the legs when I was putting it together. It's quite a wobbly thing to put together, but second time round, you do it as a breeze. You know how it works. But anyhow, I'll show all that in a video coming up. A few people have asked about it, and yes, I will do a video on the Neptune, and I'll show all the things. I did some great prints on it. I finally got the printing, and you probably can't see it. I'll throw a photo up. It's going to be here. This is a tiny little Buddha, and this took 38 minutes, and it's as good, I dare say, as resin. It is smooth as. Right? It is beautiful. But, again, sliced file by Elegoo, so they knew what they were doing. They custom sliced it for the printer, and they supplied some super duper rapid PLA, which is the printing material. Now, this printing material, non-toxic, made out of cornstarch. Yep. PLA, totally non-toxic. You could probably eat the stuff. Well, I wouldn't advise it. It's a bit chewy. But, yeah, the PLA printing material, which you can do most of your stuff with, totally non-toxic. I can print in styrene, and that'll be good. That's for later on. So I do, like, all my tests and everything and, basically get your design right in PLA. And then you go and print styrene. Well, that's when you leave the room, make sure it's pretty ventilated, and you can print styrene. Now, styrene's not going to be as bad as resin, I'll tell you. We deal with styrene all the time. It won't be any worse than if you basically put a candle under a bit of sprue and you stretched it so that you could get one of those antennas, right? And there's a little bit of a whiff, okay? Kind of like that, but a bit more. So, yeah, I've got styrene for finishing stuff off, but I'll be printing in PLA, and it's terrific. Now, what I have done is, this was a resin benchy, right? This is a little resin boat, and called a benchy because it's the thing that you turn around. No, it took over about an hour and a half or something. I don't know, I forget. I have to look it up. It took quite a while to do, all right? So I put on the one that they've got, and I started printing it with a super fast white, but I ran out. They don't give you much. You don't get much for free these days. So I had to finish it off with some grey stuff, which didn't work as well, but there's a reason for that. But this printed in about, 20-odd minutes. Yeah. Much quicker. And the detail on it, well, the white stuff is really good. The detail with the grey wasn't as good. And this is because one of the things you have to do with these printers is you've got to have a setup, a print file configured to the kind of plastic that you're using. So it was configured to super fast PLA, right, the rapid stuff. So when I put on the cheapy PLA that I bought from the local, Walmart, we don't have Walmart here, but you know what I mean. Went down to Kmart and bought some bloody wires and no, I didn't. I went to JCar. So it was pretty, eSun's, pretty good stuff. But it was PLA Plus, and apparently PLA Plus, this PLA with it doesn't like to print fast. No, it best if you slow things down. So that was the downfall. Printing PLA Plus fast, it's like Peter Piper picked a Peter Piper's. It didn't. So next day I worked it all out, opened up the slicing program, sliced my own benchy, right? And I set in the programming, this needs to be PLA Plus, right? They're a bit hard to hold, they're a bit wobbly. I'll show photos. And that printed in just over an hour. So it was a bit slow, not quite as slow as a Resin, but certainly not like the super fast ones. I mean, like the ones they put on these big printers, the Creality K1 and the Bamboo Labs, PS printers and everything. They print them out in like 15 minutes, and they're pretty good. Well, my printer's fast. It'll go up to 500 milliseconds, or whatever. It's quick. It's as quick as the big boys. But it's half the price, so, it's not getting there. But it's great. For me, I can afford it. It's my money. I'm going to love it. All right, enough of all that, because you really want to know about kits, okay? New kits. Okay, there were some new kits. Let me move the printer out of the way, and we'll do that. All right, this is the bit probably that you all were interested in, but you had to sit through all that other waffle. So those of you that have fast forward to this point, bastards, should have watched the other stuff. Anyhow, new kits. There were a few. There's a few, amazingly. This is a little float plane on a catapult. Yep. The backer actually got me onto this. It was on eBay for like just a few shekels. Delivered. It was ridiculous. It wasn't much at all. It was just a handful of denarii, dollars, whatever your currency is. It wasn't much. It really wasn't much. I mean, the price of a good lunch. Remember, I do eat curry. But it's a really lovely kit. He was actually building one. He was raving on about it and saying how good it was. He said, there's one here on Evil Bay, and it's nothing and everything. It's only one left, and it's probably going to go soon. It's gone. And then I'm not next to him. I'm actually on the interweb talking to him on Messenger, and I'm going, yeah, it was me. So I'd got on and gone, that is a bargain. That is a lovely kit. It is quite nice. If you'd like a review of that, I would be happy to do that, but I won't be building it anytime soon. No, so don't get excited and think, Harry's going to be building that next week. It's not going to happen. You know about the Das Werk shoe, right? Schwimm boot, I'm calling it. It's just a big shoe. But it's a Schwimmwagen, like the Porsche Schwimmwagen, right? So that is being built. There's videos coming out about that. I've already done a review. You can see that review. Now, strange people occasionally come and visit me. Well, this guy was lovely. Andre came all the way from the Netherlands. Can't say Holland, apparently. You don't say Holland, doesn't like it. The Netherlands, right? So Andre came all the way from the Netherlands and said, I'm going to be in Australia, in September. Be nice to catch up. Be nice to meet you. I'm really excited. And I thought, oh, God, I'm going to be a bit of all that down. Never meet your heroes. But anyhow, he was a lovely guy. We had lunch together. It's really good. He bought me a curry, sort of. It was an empanada, sort of like a curry. And he said, look, I've got this sitting in my cupboard. Ooh, it's been there for bloody years. I'm never going to build it. Original white box Prince Eugen, right? So, just another kit that I can do my silly accent with. So I reckon we will do another Finding Airfix Rare Kits, right? The FARC series, for those of you working out the acronyms. And, I'll show you that. So that's really good. So, again, didn't pay for that. No, didn't pay for that. I did pay for the Das Werk Swimmwagen. That was about twice the price of that little Kawashini sort of float plane on a big stick, or on its catapult, which I think would be rather nice, be rather good. Now, Andre said, look, also, I've got this other kit that I want to give you, and it was given to me when I was really young, but I just never got to build it. I don't think I'm going to, because again, ships. He's not really into ships. He's aircrafty, travelling around Australia. Apparently, we've got lots of float planes in museums, and he's building them. There's a Dornier that he's really excited about, and a few other things. And we actually got them. So he's like chasing around all these museums and everything. Now, there's one out in a lake called Bogan. Apparently, there's a lake called Bogan down in Victoria. If you're from Victoria, you know Lake Bogan, Boogie. I don't know. There's a lake there, and there's a museum because it used to be a base for flying boats, right? The walrus, yeah, apparently. Anyhow, so further ado, it's a boat kit, right? It's a boat. Right. I'll have to. It is a billing boat, right? Yes, it's a sort of very old. I mean, he's had the kit for donkey's years, and so it's a really old one. Nothing's laser cutting it. It's one of those ones where everything's on the sheet and you've got to cut it out yourself. Although I know a little cunning trick where you take a photograph of the sheet with all the markings, right, to cut out, and then you convert that into a vector drawing, an SVG, and you give it to a laser printing guy and say, look, here's me bit of wood, here's me print file, and they just put it all in, just like the 3D printing, the laser goes, and cuts all the parts out for you. Yes, which is what us lazy old farts really like. So there you go, that's the Nana, I think. It's a Nana? It's an Anna. It's not a banana, it's an Anna, right? And it's so old, it's not even mentioned, really, on Billing's website anymore. So, Billing Boats, no, they don't mention it. So I'll have to find out more about it, because it's only a single mast. I have got one on there, but it's like a 2-3 mast sort of schooner thing. And this isn't. This is just a little clipper. So that was a bit of a look at what's on my bench, what I've been working on. Now, what's coming up? There are a whole lot of kits here I didn't even get to talk about. I actually did a separate video of that. I'll put a link at the end of this video and in the description. And there's a video I did called The Ships Are Coming or something like that. Or, you know, I've got wood. Forget what it was. Something like that. Some stupid name that Bass come up with. And they are the ships that are going to basically it's going to be Stingray's coming back in October. November, I'll get the Viking ship done, and come December, I'll do the American Vespucci. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I'll be doing all the rigging for the St Louis, because that's all that's left in St Louis is rigging. And I'm not going to do individual videos. I'll just do something when I've got a whole lot of stuff done and tell you about it, because otherwise it's just, I put this knot here, I tied that knot there, I put this bit of string. You don't want to know. I did all that for the bounty. We don't need to do that again. We'll just do it when it's fun. I go, look, I put all these bits of string on. Ba-ding! Yep. All right, enough of that. Look, there's probably buttons down here. They're worth hitting, apparently. There's an algorithm, robots. Everything's run by artificial intelligence. Yes. And if you really want to help me out, you can always buy me a curry, like Andre did. I really appreciate it. It can be a virtual one. Go to the website. Yeah, it's on there. All right, that's it for this video. That's everything that I've got to say. As I said, lots of stuff coming up over the next few months, quite a lot of ship things. I'll get some reviews in. There'll be a 3D printing video. I won't do too many of them. I'm going to keep that sort of in the background as my little private thing until I get really good at it. Otherwise, I look like a complete dickhead. Yep. And on that note, it's goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini.